Number 4, don't do good to be seen by people. Do good only for God. Jesus taught about this. He said, be careful not to do your acts of righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. He's not saying if you do something good and somebody else sees it, that's bad. He's saying don't do it so you can be seen by people. Sort of like, here's my $200 for the baptismal tank. See how gracious I am, everybody? You know what? When somebody smiles at you and says, good boy, there's your reward. Hope it was worth it. That's it. But you do it just for God. Don't let anybody worry whether they see it or not. You get a reward in heaven. So anytime you do something good for God, don't do it so people can give you an attaboy. Because it's just a waste. It's not worth it. Just give it to God. When you give to the needy, don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you openly. I remember there was this woman at a church, and she had done something. It was a nice gesture. She had done something, and then she went up to the pastor, and she said, you know, I'm leaving this church. And the pastor said, why? Well, because I did this thing, and nobody really thanked me for it. And I was like, oh, I thought you did it for God. And she was all offended. I was like, oh, you poor dear. You're losing your reward. You had the wrong attitude about the whole thing in the first place. No, yeah, we like to thank people, and that's why we're doing volunteer appreciation thing, but it isn't about us. It's about God. And the reward hasn't come just yet. All right, so to get the best reward, work hard for God and man. To get the best reward, choose kingdom priorities. To get the best reward, live righteously. To get the best reward, don't do good to be seen by people. Now, speaking of doing things and other people, there is something that you can do in regards to other people that will really stack the deck in your favor in heaven. Really. Listen to this. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the same measure you use, it will be measured to you. So when we're judged by God, He's going to look at how we judged others. If you're really harsh on others, God's going to be harsh on you. So how about we do this? Let's determine we're not going to judge others. We're just going to give everybody a pass. Let God sort it all out. And then when God's ready to look at our account, He's going to be generous to us. Doesn't that make sense? Plus, you get the added benefit of not fighting with people all the time. Because people are always fighting because they're judging one another. If we'd stop judging, we'd stop most of the fights. Oh, I would never do that. Yeah, you would. Probably did twice. You know? Just, you know what? They screwed up. Okay. I'm sure you've never done that. Give them a pass. Give them a do-over card. Just forget about it. Oh, you know what? Them body piercings. Them's is pagan. You worship the devil. Well, you know what? I'm not pierced. But I didn't see anything in the Word of God that says if you get pierced, you worship the devil. It's a matter of taste. And to be frank, I don't got good taste. So I'm going to give everybody a pass in the taste department. Same with music. You know, most of you love broken. I love broken. Broken is often awesome. Often awesome. But that style of music's not going to be for everybody. Some people like Gaither. Okay. Gaithers are great too. It's a different taste. It's a different style. You know, one of the things I really missed when I went to Israel and Turkey was food. They do feed you stuff there. But man, I was dying for either a burrito or a hamburger. I was just dying for a burrito or a hamburger. Now, their food was okay, don't get me wrong. They were proud of their food. I was like, dude, this isn't food. It'll get you by. You got to come out west, I'll show you what food is. Who was right? Who was wrong? It's not right or wrong, just give them a pass. On matters of culture, on matters of conscience, and the deck will be stacked in your favor when you get to heaven. Number 5. And this is really number 1, but I wanted to close with it and not open with it, because it starts everything and it ends everything. To get the best reward, you got to seek God. Hebrews 11:6. No one can please God without faith. For whoever comes to God must have faith that God exists and he rewards those who seek him. Or as the King James says, diligently seek him. Not just seek him, but really go after him. And that lines up with other verses. Verses like this one in Jeremiah that says, you will search for me, and you will find me when you search for me with all your heart. That's interesting. God says, you will search for me, and you will find me when you search for me with all your heart. You search for me with half your heart, you're not going to find me. So Easter's coming up. And we're going to hide a bunch of stuff in our yard for our little kids. We do every year. It's fun. But usually there's one special egg, the golden egg. And it's got something special inside. And we hide that one the best because that's the real prize. That one you're going to have to look for. We get some, man. You just walk outside and there they are. But some of them, have you ever done that and then 3 years later you find an egg? That one was a little too well hidden, I think. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who found a treasure hidden in a field. When he realized how valuable it was, he went and sold everything that he had, and he bought that field. God is valuable. He's not cheap. He's not easy. Oh yeah, I went to church once, I didn't like it, I couldn't find God, I'm going to be a pagan. That's the value of God? You went to church once, I thought I'd look for him? Let's say there was a job out there, and let's say it perfectly lines up with your set of gifts. Let's say, for example, it's a video game playing and testing job. And you love video games. And you make $200,000 a year. And they give you a couch and free beverage service. And all you got to do is play the games and tell the guys whether you like it or not. And you can have this job. And here's the application process. It takes 5 steps. First, you got to fill out an application. There's step 1. Step 2, you got to be interviewed. Step 3, you got to show us how well you play games. Step 4, you got to prove to us that you love video games. Step number 5, why should we give you the job other than somebody else? I'm telling you, if you want this job, you will go through those 5 steps, and you will come up with some brilliant way to set yourself off from everybody else because you want that job. How much do you want God? If you don't want God as much as a video game job, don't expect to get him. You see what I'm saying? God's free. He's available to anybody, but he's not cheap. He really wants you to want him. You will seek for me and you will find me when you search for me with all your heart.